Good afternoon and welcome to Boston Asian Radio and TV English Daily News Today. I am your host, Amanda. Here's a look at the top stories making headlines today. Boston ending COVID vaccine mandate for city employees, effective next week. Dorchester shooting leaves one with life-threatening injuries, causes car to slam into building. Most major healthcare and hospital systems in Mass will lift mask requirements next week. Brookline student facing charges after bringing BB gun to school. Former Boston High School dean who was a Latin Kings member is sentenced to more than 18 years in prison. Boston ending COVID vaccine mandate for city employees, effective next week. Boston will lift its COVID-19 vaccine mandate for all city workers on May 11 as the public health landscape has changed considerably since December 2021, according to Chief People Officer Alex Lawrence. 95% of city employees had submitted proof of vaccination by late January 2022. The mandate had been a source of controversy, resulting in several lawsuits, pushback from unions, and vocal protests outside Mayor Michelle Wu's home. However, the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court overturned a lower court's decision blocking the mandate. Lawrence said if it becomes necessary to implement additional policies to protect the workforce in the future, they are ready to act accordingly. Dorchester shooting leaves one with life-threatening injuries, causes car to slam into building. Boston police are investigating a shooting in Dorchester that caused a silver SUV to crash into a building with its airbags deployed. The police believe that the car crash is connected to the shooting, which left one person with life-threatening injuries. The BPD has surrounded the crashed car with crime scene tape and the incident is under active investigation. The shooting occurred shortly after 4:00 p.m. on Thursday, and when the officers arrived at the scene, they found the SUV slammed into the building. The BPD has not provided any additional information on the investigation yet. Most major healthcare and hospital systems in Mass will lift mask requirements next week. Starting from May 12, most major healthcare and hospital systems in Massachusetts will end or modify their mask policies as the federal public health emergency for COVID-19 comes to an end. The state mandate for masks in healthcare facilities, doctors' and dentists' offices will also expire along with most pandemic-related rules. The decisions were made based on declining COVID-19 rates, the widespread availability of vaccines and treatments, and federal guidance. However, some health advocates and lawmakers worry that the changes will leave vulnerable groups at risk, and they urge state health officials to continue requiring masks in healthcare settings to avoid severe complications. Brookline student facing charges after bringing BB gun to school. A Brookline High School student will face charges for allegedly bringing a BB gun onto the school premises and fleeing from police. School officials contacted the police after receiving reports that a student was in possession of a gun. The student fled when confronted by school security but was later stopped by police a few blocks away. A search of his backpack yielded a BB gun, which was confiscated by the police. The school was not put on lockdown, and no one was injured. The student will be charged with carrying a weapon on school grounds and making threats in juvenile court. The school authorities praised the quick action of the police in isolating and containing the situation without causing any disruption to the school day. Former Boston High School dean who was a Latin Kings member is sentenced to more than 18 years in prison. Former dean of the English High School in Boston, Sean Harrison, has been sentenced to over 18 years in federal prison for racketeering charges, including conspiracy to conduct enterprise affairs through a pattern of racketeering activity. Harrison was a Latin Kings gang member who recruited students into the gang and directed them to sell drugs for him. He was hired as dean in 2015 and led a double life as a gang member. Harrison was sentenced to 218 months in prison, plus 3 years of supervised release. He was already serving time in state prison for attempting to kill a student at the school in 2018. Prosecutors stated that Harrison was the architect of ruin for an entire generation of promising young lives, luring and manipulating teenagers into a criminal enterprise that specialized in street terrorism. Stay tuned for more updates on Boston news as it develops.